Right now, the winter holidays are just a week away, and Chris is tracking the latest winter storm system. But will it hit Madison? And the longest running rivalry in professional football returns to Lambeau as the Packers face the Bears for the 200th time. We have game day predictions on an important day for both teams.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's 6:30 in the morning on December 15th. I'm Keely Arthur in with meteorologist Chris Reese. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Keely.
So usually you and I text each other to coordinate our outfits. We didn't, but I'm wearing green, you're wearing gold, kind of Packers. Kind of worked out.
It did work out. The funny thing is I almost wore green this morning.
That is
but
funny.
I went with gold.
All right.
So we're watching the weather. And speaking of gold, I think we're going to see some of that in the sky today. You know how we've dealt with the days of fog lately? This time we are going to see some sunshine. That sunrise, absolutely beautiful out there this morning, the orange on the horizon. This is what we're going to see as we continue to go through the day. Visibility 10 miles. There is no fog for any of us here throughout south central Wisconsin. Temperature-wise, it's cold. Black River Falls, -17 right now. We're at -1 in Camp Douglas, 1 in La Crosse and Viroqua. You jump down towards Madison, there's no snowpack. That's where the temperature is at 9 degrees, 19 for our friends over in Janesville. So we are shaping up for a particularly colder day, but we will see plenty of sunshine. By 8 o'clock, look for temperatures near 15, 17 by 10 o'clock, 19 by 12. We'll top out around 23 as we head into the afternoon. 3 things to know in terms of weather. We will be colder today. There's a chance that tonight into tomorrow we'll see some flurries. But then the pattern could be dry up until Christmas. But there's a question mark there for a reason, because at least some of the models are trying to show a little system around the 20th and 21st. We'll be watching that one closely.
And in your mind, that's probably a little bit of an upgrade from what we were looking at yesterday.
In my mind, that is an upgrade for sure. But we'll see.
Any snow is an upgrade for Chris Reese.
Especially around this time of the year, yes.
Great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Breaking overnight, Madison police have now arrested a man for first-degree intentional homicide in connection with Saturday's shooting. They say 20-year-old Marcus T. Hamilton shot and killed a man on the 1000 block of Spruce Street just before 1:15 yesterday afternoon. Police say when they arrived at the scene, the victim was still alive and was rushed to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. Officers believe this was a targeted attack because Hamilton and the victim knew one another. Now to the Philippines, where at least one person is dead after a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck the country's second largest island overnight. Right now, bridges across the island are closed due to cracks, and with many schools severely damaged, classes have been canceled for tomorrow. The island where this happened is called Menedino, and it's a popular tourist destination. Posts coming in this morning from social media show hotel pools dramatically overflowing and shoppers rushing to evacuate local malls. Meanwhile, the U.S. Special Envoy for North Korea, Stephen Biegun, has just touched down in that country as dictator Kim Jong-un stepped up pressure on Washington to revive stalled denuclearization talks ahead of the year-end deadline. Biegun's visit comes a day after North Korea said it made another crucial test at a rocket launch site to develop a strategic weapon to deter U.S. nuclear threats. Analysts say these tests could help North Korea build more reliable intercontinental ballistic missiles that could be capable of reaching the U.S. President Trump could be just days away from making history. 2 articles of impeachment are headed to a vote on the House floor this week. The president's team appears to be gearing up for a trial in the Senate. Mr. Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was at the White House this weekend after the House Judicial Committee voted on party lines to send 2 impeachment charges to the House floor. The first for abuse of power, the second obstruction of Congress.
If we let the president get away with this misconduct, it means that every president for all time will be able to bring foreign powers into our elections.
Someday there'll be a Democrat president and there'll be a Republican House, and I suspect they're going to remember it.
The full House vote to impeach the president could take place as early as this Wednesday. Democratic House leaders expect a few defections from moderate members in vulnerable swing districts, but they expect they have the votes needed to pass. The Trump administration is reportedly preparing to announce a long-awaited withdrawal of troops in Afghanistan. A senior administration official says the announcement could come as early as this week, but the exact timing remains in flux. It would involve about 4,000 troops. Currently, between 12,000 and 13,000 U.S. troops are serving in this 18-year war. We are just hours away from kickoff of the 200th game between the Packers and the Bears. Since Aaron taken the overall edge, he's 18-5 against Chicago, but Rodgers says all that means is that the rivalry's been a long time coming, and it'll be around a long time after he's gone.
But it's been fun to be a part of so many of them. I think I've been a part of, I don't know, in the 20s, somewhere mid-20s. It's a great rivalry for the game. You know, obviously the history of that. It's nice to be on the other side now. I know when, Farby started back in early 90s, I think we were on the other side of this rivalry, and now it's nice to be up by 3, I believe.
Kickoff is at noon, and it's a big game for both teams. If the Packers lose, it'll make next week's game against the Vikings a must-win to take the NFC North. If the Bears need a win for any chance at a wild card playoff spot. The Badgers are heading back to the Final Four. Wisconsin's women's volleyball team punched its ticket to Pittsburgh Saturday by sweeping number 5 Nebraska in 5 sets. This is the Badgers' first Final Four appearance since 2013 and their third in the program's history. They'll play number 1 Baylor at the Final Four Thursday in Pittsburgh, but for now, the players are just basking in their big win.
Every little girl, when they started playing volleyball, they always dream of moments like these, and I know that our whole team has, so to experience it is just amazing. Like Clark said, it's hard to put into words, but just really, really happy and proud of this team.
Our message with them going out was simple, have fun, enjoy, and sometimes you can be wound so tight that you forget that.
More local news. More than 1,000 Badgers are getting ready to walk across the stage this morning as new college graduates. UW's winter commencement is set for 10 o'clock at the Kohl Center. Wall Street Journal columnist and UW alum Jason Gay will be the keynote speaker. He says Chancellor Blank must have meant to ask J.J. Watt, but accidentally sent the email to him instead. Even if you aren't going, you should expect lots of traffic and limited parking near the Kohl Center this morning. Time right now is 6:37. We're going behind the wheel of one of Subaru's most popular cars, the Outback. Find out how the 2020 version stacks up to the rest. But first, here is a live look outside on this beautiful Sunday morning. Chris is tracking a sunny yet frosty First Alert forecast just ahead.
We're waking up to a beautiful sunrise this morning. This is a change of pace over what we've seen for the past several days, where we've had the fog, the drizzle, along with the icy spots on roads. This morning, I think, is going to be a much different story. Plenty of sunshine on the way. There will be a chance for some flurries as we move into tonight and tomorrow morning. But then it's possible that we're dry with no snow until Christmas, with a question mark, just because there could be a little shakeup in the weather modeling. We'll talk about that. In the meantime, we are certainly cold out there. 9 degrees our temperature in Madison. Black River Falls, 16 degrees below zero this morning. Plenty of spots where there's snow on the ground well into the single digits. -1 in Camp Douglas, Viroqua and La Crosse, both at 1. A little bit warmer to the south and east. Now, as we look ahead through the morning with that sun coming up and the drier air, we begin to warm up a lot more quickly as well. So by 8 o'clock, look for temperatures in the mid-teens, 17 by 10 o'clock. I think by lunchtime, we'll see those temperatures right around 19. But again, we are staying dry throughout the day. Here's high-resolution Doppler right now. A clean sweep throughout all of Dane County, Mount Horeb, Cross Plains, Waunakee. Everyone is certainly dry, and that's the same that can be said for our friends down in Rock County as well. Beloit is dry, Janesville, Evansville, Milton, Broadhead, everyone shall wake up to some sunshine this morning as southern Wisconsin is free of any kind of rain or snow. I do think we might start to see some added cloud cover as we move into late this evening into tonight. We'll discuss that in just a moment here, but let's go ahead and time things out for you. By 12:30, temperatures will be in the upper teens and low 20s for most of us. 4 o'clock, that's the warmest part of the day. Look for those temperatures right around 23. Again, sunshine sticking around for all of us at this point, but after 4 o'clock, that's when that cloud cover comes in. I'm stopping the clock now at 1:30 in the morning. Notice what's starting to develop towards the west. Those are some flurries, and that's why I do think we keep that flurry chance overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. By the time we get towards 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, temperatures will be in the upper 20s. We'll start to see that sunshine returning to the picture at that point. What's bringing the flurry chance is that next winter storm that's going to pass well to our south. I think they will certainly see a white Christmas to the south with those temperatures that are going to be into the 20s, along with perhaps upwards of 6 inches of snow for them. We'll see if that's able to stick around. But beyond that, we really do stay dry as we go through the week, except for one thing that's been showing up on the modeling, and that has been this system right around December 20th and 21st. That could bring a little snow our way. Other than that, that's the only chance that we have for precipitation. So right now, we're keeping your chances for a white Christmas right around 20%. Keep dreaming, but keep hope alive for sure. Here's the forecast as we go through the next 10 days. It's possible that the Monday before Christmas, if we don't get snow by next weekend, will be in the 40s, just because our ground is bare. We'll really be able to warm up.
See, that's more my style. I would be fine with taking a warm kind of Christmas.
I've had an 80-degree Christmas before, just growing up in the South, and I have to say it kind of ruins the spirit a little bit, but it is what it is.
You want snow. All right. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, if you have outdoor plans this weekend, this is your reminder to download our Channel 3000 Weather and Traffic app. You'll be the first to know when weather that will affect your day is headed your way with the most up-to-date and accurate weather conditions. You can get it for free in your app store. Subaru debuted their first ever Outback back in 1994. It was essentially a station wagon version of the company's legacy sedan. Now in its 6th generation, the 2020 Subaru Outback is out and it's getting rave reviews. Our Mark Kane heads behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs to check it all out.
The official car of Madison.
That's it. I see a lot of Outbacks on the street, and I think with this 2020 model, you're going to see a lot more.
This is the biggest Outback ever. It's almost 1.5 inches longer than the last generation and about 1/2 inch wider, so there's more room inside. It also has a redesigned front end with all LED lights and LED fog lights on the high-end models like our test car.
This is the Touring XT, so this is as tricked out as you can get it, and it has everything on it.
Like the all-new tablet-style Subaru Starlink with an 11.6-inch high-resolution touchscreen, which controls just about everything. That has its pluses and minuses.
If I want to, say, adjust the seat heat, I have to hit that, wait for it to come up, go over here, and then do that.
And you're not doing this while you're driving.
No, it's again one of those things that it feels like a little too much.
But the Outback has lots of other tech that works really well.
You've got EyeSight standard in here, which gives you adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning, lane keep assist, all of that good stuff. And they even have a driver monitoring system here. So say we're driving down a road like this and I'm straight and we don't have to worry about it, and I turn to talk to you for a little too long, it just yells at me and says, "Hey, keep your eyes on the road, dummy."
This Touring XT model also has all the creature comforts you might not associate with a Subaru.
You've got all the leather, heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats up front, heated seats in the back. It really feels good, all these soft touch surfaces.
But you pay for that.
Yeah, you do. The base price on a Outback is about $26,000. This one, as it sits, is close to 40, or a little over 40, actually.
Our test car in cinnamon brown pearl is classified as a station wagon, but what it really competes with are compact SUVs.
And there are so few wagons out there now. People cross shop, the Honda CR-V, the Toyota RAV4, Mazda CX-5 might be something else you might look at instead of this.
It's a pretty rugged vehicle.
It is. Speaking of.
There goes an old one now.
That's right. Last a long time. They're very rugged vehicles and surprisingly capable off-road.
This sort of started the compact SUV movement.
Yeah, I think, it was funny back when Outback came out, originally it was just a trim level on, I believe it was the Legacy. And, they hired Paul Hogan to be the spokesperson for it and all this stuff. And they tried to give it some rugged appeal, and it took off. And so they decided to make it its own line of vehicles.
But this is a good one.
Yeah.
And reliable.
Good, reliable. It just does what it does really well.
And you can read more of Harvey's reviews on his website, ridesanddrives.com. Rental car service, aptly named Lyft Rentals. The service lets users rent vehicles for as long as 2 weeks. Prices can vary widely depending on the day and time and can rise to as much as $149 a day on the weekend. At first, the service will only be available in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Lyft has been testing the program in those areas for about a few months now. It is 6:48, and mammograms correctly identify cancer in nearly 90% of women diagnosed with the disease. But a grim trend is on the rise. Insurance companies are not always covering the popular and life-saving exam. We dive into the ongoing investigation next on News 3 Now This Morning, Sunday. Welcome back. Mammograms can save lives, but CBS News has learned in some cases insurance companies are refusing to cover them. They first looked into this in October for the series Medical Price Roulette. After that story aired, we heard from hundreds of women, including some who got surprise bills for hundreds of dollars. Consumer investigative correspondent Anna Werner is following all of this.
Roseanne Neal fought breast cancer and won. Come on, Lori. But this 52-year-old single mom says for the past year, she's been fighting her insurance company and losing.
I felt that I was being penalized for having breast cancer.
The cancer occurred in 2015. Since then, she's had annual diagnostic mammograms paid for by her insurance. Then last year, she switched jobs, and in October,
I went in, got the mammogram, and then about a month later, I got a bill for over $900.
over $900.
$900.
Her insurance company, Aetna, had refused to pay.
They said, no, that we don't cover diagnostic mammograms. I said, but I had breast cancer. Why wouldn't you cover this if I had breast cancer?
The Affordable Care Act requires insurance companies to pay for regular screening mammograms for women with no out-of-pocket costs. But because she's a breast cancer survivor, Neal says her doctor told her she needed what's called a diagnostic mammogram, a similar test that's read more quickly every year for 5 years after her cancer treatment. So Neal appealed to Aetna.
You literally told the insurance company, I do not feel it is fair to be penalized for having had breast cancer.
Yes, and I told them that verbally. And again, when I told them verbally, there was no response. We're just not going to pay this. So there was no negotiation, there was no discussion, there was no argument. It was, this is the way it is. Have a nice day.
In this letter, Aetna told Neal her claim was processed correctly, that Aetna does not consider the specific test as part of the standard routine testing.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
Angry, very angry. I feel that it's very unfair that someone who has had breast cancer, who is following the protocol that the doctor is prescribing, is not being covered for preventive maintenance, really.
Neal is one of hundreds of women who have shared their mammogram pricing stories with CBS News. One wrote she feels punished for being a survivor because of the astronomical costs. Another said she skipped her mammogram this year, saying, I cannot afford to have this happen again.
It's really creating a significant barrier to care.
Molly Guthrie is with the Susan G. Komen Foundation, which is pushing lawmakers to get all breast cancer screening tests covered.
We want the diagnostic testing that a physician feels their patient should have, that the patient can have access to that without cost sharing.
Without any cost to the patient.
Correct.
So that means diagnostic mammogram, ultrasound, MRI, any of those.
Right.
So far, bills have passed in 5 states.
We've seen women discriminated against for a long time in health care.
Congresswoman Debbie Dingell is co-sponsoring federal legislation in the House, but so far there are no Senate sponsors.
We need to make sure that every woman has access to the tests she needs to know if she's got breast cancer.
As for Neal's over $900 bill, after CBS News contacted Aetna to ask about her case, it reversed course, saying, we mistakenly did not apply the appropriate policy when Ms. Neal appealed. We apologize for this mistake. Neal says she doesn't believe it.
So why do you think they do it?
Greed, you know, the money. It's all about money, the bottom line.
Aetna says it will reprocess Neal's claims and reimburse her for any out-of-pocket costs. The company says it believes this is an isolated issue. 6:56, there's a full hour of News 3 ahead on this morning. Next, we are running through the day's top stories, but first, here is a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we're going to talk about the community building work at the Lusher Community Education Center. Lusher is one of many important and impactful community centers in Madison with an engaged neighborhood and track record of success. It's also a place where conversations about Madison's most pressing issues happen. Paul Terranova has been executive director at Lusher Community Center for 20 years, and he's my guest. And that's coming up this morning at 10:30 on News 3 Now.
Right now, we're helping you embrace that winter forecast before it starts feeling like the cold, dark days never end.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's December 15th. I'm Keely Arthur. We're going to get a check on your weather with Chris in just a second. But first, we are following some breaking news overnight. Madison police have now arrested a man for first-degree intentional homicide in connection with Saturday's shooting. They say 20-year-old Marcus T. Hamilton shot and killed a man on the 1000 block of Spruce Street just after 1:15 yesterday afternoon. Police say when they arrived at the scene, the victim was still alive and was rushed to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. He later died. Officers believe this was a targeted attack because Hamilton and the victim knew one another. The Badgers are heading back to the Final Four. Wisconsin's women's volleyball team punched its ticket to Pittsburgh Saturday by sweeping number 5 Nebraska in 5 sets. This is the Badgers' first Final Four appearance since 2013 and their third in the program's history. They'll play number 1 Baylor at the Final Four Thursday in Pittsburgh. And it's graduation day for a new crop of Badgers. UW's winter commencement is set for 10 o'clock at the Kohl Center. Wall Street Journal columnist and UW alum Jason Gay is the season's keynote speaker. He says Chancellor Blink must have meant to ask J.J. Watt again, but accidentally sent the email to him instead. Now, even if you aren't going, you might be affected by this. Campus officials warn drivers to expect lots of traffic and limited parking near the Kohl Center this morning. And Chris Reese here to share some weather for us. And Chris, good thing that the graduation's is inside?
Yeah, good thing it's inside. It is going to be cold, but it at least is going to be a beautiful sunny day. The sun's starting to rise above the horizon as we speak. Instead of a gray morning, we are seeing the blue, the orange, the yellow, all the colors out there this morning. Visibility 10 miles across the board, folks. No fog to cause any issues out there thanks to the drier air that we do have in place, but it is rather chilly, especially towards the north and west. This is where there is snow on the ground, so those temperatures are a bit colder. -16 in Black River Falls, Camp Douglas at -1, 3 in the Dells, Madison at 8. You go down towards Janesville, that's where that temperature is at 12 right now. Milwaukee, one of the warm spots at 16 right along that lake shore. Folks, let's look ahead throughout the rest of the day. Temperatures will begin to warm up. 16 by 9 o'clock, 18 as you work your way towards 11, and then by 1 o'clock, I think we'll start to see those temperatures into the 20s. That sunshine sticks around as we go through today. We'll see a chance of flurries tonight into your Monday, and then we're watching. Right now, we're going to say dry with no snow until Christmas? Question mark. I'll let that be a hint into the forecast to come a little bit later in the show.
All right, thank you, Chris. At least one person is dead after a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck the Philippines' second largest island overnight. Right now, bridges across the island are closed due to cracks, and with many schools severely damaged, classes have been canceled for tomorrow. The island where this happened is called Mindanao, and it's a popular tourist destination. Posts coming in this morning from social media show hotel pools dramatically overflowing and shoppers rushing to evacuate local malls. Meanwhile, the U.S. Special Envoy for North Korea, Stephen Biegun, has just touched down in that country as dictator Kim Jong-un stepped up pressure on Washington to revive stalled denuclearization talks ahead of the year-end deadline. Biegun's visit comes a day after North Korea said it made another crucial test at a rocket launch site to develop a strategic weapon to deter U.S. nuclear threats. Analysts say these tests could help North Korea build more reliable intercontinental ballistic missiles that could be capable of reaching the U.S. The Trump administration is reportedly preparing to announce a long-awaited withdrawal of troops in Afghanistan. A senior administrator says the announcement could come as early as this week, but the exact timing remains in flux. It would involve about 4,000 troops. Currently, between 12,000 and 13,000 U.S. troops are serving in the 18-year-long war. We've already seen snow and stretches of well below freezing temperatures, and we haven't even hit the official start of winter just yet. Only on News 3 Now, our Danica Lewis has some tips for surviving without sun and snow before we all start feeling like winter will never end.
To look forward to the rest of winter,
perhaps it's time to look back.
The story is told on a daily basis here.
Way back.
We had a ski jump here in Stoughton at one time, and it was behind the hospital, which I would say is a good place to put it.
It's one of the ways early Norwegian settlers,
expecting to have this glorious future,
embraced their familiar surroundings.
And today we're here only because of them.
Just as Kathy Ferris has embraced her family's story.
Because it tells the story.
Using things like an antique trunk to tell that story, one that's still being written.
I think little bits of Norway float through Wisconsin still today. Whether people realize it or not.
It begs the question, with weather more cold and blustery here in Wisconsin, how did the Scandinavian soul of Stoughton survive? Perhaps the same reason visitors continue to come to this heritage center.
You just can't help but feel a hug when you come in here.
Or why Nita Schmidt,
You hunker down inside and you're cozy.
feels so content.
You can ignore the weather, or you can embrace the weather.
For the Danish native, winter is something to look forward to.
Let's get together, do something that's cozy.
And it comes down to a cultural concept.
The inherent knowledge, the subconscious knowledge of hygge. How do we hygge?
Hygge exists in places like Denmark and Norway. The word encompasses the feeling of coziness with others, particularly in the colder months.
There's got to be time to light candles.
Yes. Candles. Perhaps a soft blanket. Warm socks. Holiday treats. Or a nice cup of cocoa. And most of all, doing any or all of the above with people you care about.
Stay inside, kind of get into tribal mode. You're all inherently on the same page as regards customs, traditions.
Connecting that's connected to the past.
It's the warmth, the closeness.
Knowing that looking back hundreds of years.
Yeah, the heritage is definitely very strong.
Could help us tough out the few months to come.
The people, it's the people. It's all about that personal story.
Danica Lewis, News 3 Now.
The hygge way of living has been a topic of a number of books. Some people have even made their careers out of it, including a hygge wellness coach based right here in Madison. For more advice on embracing this concept, check out this story on channel3000.com. A Week 1 rematch awaits the Packers and Bears today, with Green Bay a 4.5 favorite since the last 10-3 Packers victory at Soldier Field. The Packers have their best record ever under a first-year head coach, while the Bears have won their last 3 after an early season slump. Head coach Matt Nagy says his team is looking for a little vengeance.
It wasn't good. I do think our defense was overshadowed because of the lack of offensive production, but it's totally different at this point. You know, right or wrong for both teams, we're different. So that's why in division games you play twice a year, and you're able to have a shot to redeem yourself.
Kickoff for the 200th matchup between the Bears and Packers is set for noon. The Badgers football team is gearing up for their 10th appearance in the Rose Bowl. And with the demand for tickets and travel packages expected to be pretty high, the Better Business Bureau is warning you of some scams surrounding the team. To make sure your tickets are valid, your travel packages are confirmed, and that you're buying team gear that isn't counterfeit, here's what the BBB suggests. When you buy tickets, make sure to go to the team's official website first. If you have to get them through a reseller, you can look the business up on the BBB's website to see its rating and complaint history. And if you're looking to get a package, make sure to call the hotel to verify the room you want actually exists. If you have questions about scams like these, a suspicious business, or any consumer-related questions or complaints, our Call for Action volunteers can help you. They're here Monday and Wednesday and Friday from 11 until 1. You can reach them at the number there on your screen. That's 608-270-2833. You've probably already heard the usual tips from the TSA when you fly. No liquids over 3.4 ounces. Be prepared to take your shoes off if you don't have pre-check, and get there early. But one tip is especially important during the holiday season. Don't wrap your gifts that you're bringing to your loved ones. It'll just slow you down.
If you're bringing the gifts through the checkpoint, that in particular takes more time, because if it's an item that alarms and the officer has to unwrap the gift, right, that's a frustrating moment because you spent all the time and material to wrap it.
Another common mistake is bringing snow globes. They have to be under the 3-ounce rule too. Otherwise, you have to put it in your checked luggage. Speaking of gift giving, many people stress out not just about who to give to, but how much to spend. The National Retail Federation says Americans are expected to spend an average of $660 on gifts this season. The personal finance website Bankrate suggests that you spend the most on your spouse and your parents, around $100 on your husband or wife, and between $75 and $100 on your mom and dad. For kids, $75 is a good starting point. For good friends or your kids' teachers, experts say $15 to $25 is enough. But more importantly, spend within your means, whatever that may mean to you and your family. 7:10, and Star Wars fans are counting the days until they can head back to a galaxy far, far away in the franchise's newest film out Friday. We'll find out how local theaters are getting ready. But first, you're taking a live look outside. Chris is tracking a sunny forecast for you.
What a beautiful day that we are waking up to across the neighborhood as the sun is rising over southern Wisconsin. The past couple of mornings we have been dealing with the fog along with the freezing drizzle, and folks, sunshine is going to be the story of your Sunday. We will see a chance for some flurries overnight tonight into your Monday, but then we're dry with likely no snow or rain even leading up to Christmas. Although there's a question mark there. We're going to touch on that. 8 degrees is your temperature as you head out the door. 11 in Monroe, Mineral Point at 10, Janesville at 12. Things are a little bit warmer towards the lake shore. The lake water tends to keep things just a little bit warmer this time of the year. 11 in Sheboygan, Milwaukee, and Kenosha, both coming in at 16 degrees. Let's look ahead as we go through the next couple of hours. By 9 o'clock, temperature should make it into the teens. With the drier air and plenty of sunshine, you begin to warm up rather quickly. 20 by the time we get you towards 1 o'clock today. And again, we all stick with the sunshine today. High-resolution Doppler giving all of us a clean sweep in Dane County. Same for our friends in Rock County. As you zoom out throughout southern Wisconsin, this is the same story for just about everyone as high pressure settles in over the upper Midwest. Let's go through the rest of the day. Here we are at 9:30. Those temperatures making it into the teens. At lunchtime, you will still want a jacket if you are starting to head out with temperatures that are going to be into the upper teens at that point. I'm stopping the clock now at 4 o'clock. That's where temperatures are going to be into the low 20s for those highs. This is the warmest part of the day. Still notice that sunshine is in play for all of us, but overnight tonight, clouds come in. Here we are at 1:30 in the morning, and you begin to see at least some flurries towards the west. That's why we're keeping that flurry chance in the picture overnight tonight and then into your day early on tomorrow. This is all associated with the storm system that's going to pass ever so closely towards the south. There are winter storm warnings throughout parts of Illinois, Missouri, and into Indiana with that snow system. Beyond that, we are dry through the rest of the week, although Future Track is showing at least one chance as we get you into Friday and Saturday of a snowmaker throughout parts of the area. We'll watch that one closely, and that'll be about your chance for a white Christmas if you were watching one, because over the next 6 to 10 days, going all the way through Christmas Eve, we are looking at a drier than normal pattern across the eastern 2/3 of the country. But not only are we looking drier, we are also looking warmer than normal as we go through the eastern 2/3 of the country. And with that in mind, folks, we are only giving your odds of a white Christmas at about 20% right now. But that 20% is because I'm watching that system that I did see in the picture on Friday. And I will admit there was at least one model that I was looking at just now, but it's alone, that showed a snowstorm Christmas Eve night into Christmas morning. In the meantime, look for that dry weather to stick around. Temperatures will make it into the upper 30s by the week's end, with perhaps low 40s by next Monday. We'll watch those temperature trends closely throughout the week.
And you said not normally sunny this time of year, but it is sunny in your forecast, so people should maybe embrace that a bit.
Yeah, we tend to see a lot of cloud cover for the 6 months of winter
Oh,
that we have up here.
Yeah, I know. I'll be outside.
Yeah,
all right.
Go outside.
Thank you, Chris. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us. And speaking of the sun, check out this gorgeous photo sent in by Don Rimgal. This is actually in Maine of Mackworth Island. Thank you for sharing. And what does your morning look like? You can take a picture and post it on Channel 3000's Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We will share our favorites right here on the show. Movie studios have saved some of their biggest films for December, and this year is no exception. Star Wars comes out this month, but that is far from all that is showing. This weekend, it's all about Jumanji. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black return in the sequel to the 2017 film. This time, the characters get sucked back into the world of the Jumanji game. Only this time, they bring along 2 geriatric stowaways, and they end up in the wrong bodies. Next weekend, the bizarre and beloved musical about a group of cats who must decide which of them will die and ascend to the Heaviside Layer. Their version of the Cat Afterlife hits theaters. The adaptation of Broadway's Cats is described as weird, colorful, and some critics are saying it makes no sense. But it does have an all-star cast: Idris Elba, Judi Dench, James Corden, and Taylor Swift. But of course, the biggest of them all,
Star Wars is going to be tremendous. What we've heard is it's very well done, it's exciting. Nobody knows what's happening. It's been very hush-hush. So this is for all those Star Wars, fans. This is the time where they need to come and they need to see it. And a lot of them want to see it like it was meant to be seen on these big screens.
Star Wars is expected to break some box office records, which is needed as the number of moviegoers is down once again. According to the website StatSas, just 14% of Americans go to the movies each month, and nearly half of us don't go to the theaters at all each year. It is 7:19, and before the ball drops, we have plenty of holiday gatherings to get through. And if you're still working on nailing down that dinner menu, Chef Paul from the Willie Street Co-op is here with some ideas that all use locally sourced foods. We're heading to our makeshift kitchen next on News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back. It's the holiday season, and that means lots of eating and cooking. Chef Paul from the Willie Street Co-op is back in studio this morning crafting a locally sourced family meal. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. We always love having you here. And
Great honor.
I mean, looking at all this, it looks like typical classic holiday comfort food, but it has a little bit of a twist to it, a little elevated. So what are all these things?
Duck confit.
Beautiful.
Local root vegetable.
Okay.
And definitely 100% local root vegetable plus Brussels sprout, but this is not the sourdough.
Okay.
No, I'm in a sour cream dip.
Delicious.
And mince pie, cranberry, custard, brown butter, pecan pie.
Oh, yum.
Gluten-free, vegetarian pot pie.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna making some almond, green bean almondine really quick, easy.
Yes, we want quick and easy during the holidays for sure. So how do you start this?
First, I gotta open my oil.
You gotta open the oil.
Yeah, little oil here. You blanch this green bean. Okay, I already pre-blanched it. You chop up some.
And for the blanching, how does that process go?
Boil hot water. Boil hot water and just dump it in there for about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And take them out. Hot oil. You will see hot oil when it's hot.
Then you have them. They're blanched. You chop them a bit.
Yep. I like a lot of garlic. Garlic's
I
good.
like a lot of garlic too.
And you gotta toast your almonds.
So you do the almonds first or garlic first?
Garlic first.
Garlic first.
I'm gonna get a little garlic flavor to infuse that oil a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Just give it a little.
We can throw it in there.
We can throw it in there, like you said, right? Like you said, well, we can wait, right?
Oh, yes.
Only 3 minutes, so I better do quick. And now I'm gonna put this in, just give it a little flavor there, pretty quick. Okay, just very quick here.
Oh, it smells
Smell
so
right
good
in it.
already.
So just a couple seconds, okay? Just a couple seconds right here. Toss a little bit, and we're gonna eat very well this holiday season. Wish everybody happy and healthy, right?
Yes, healthy and delicious too.
Salt here.
Is that some salt?
Sea
Okay.
salt here, and
Now, how do you know when the green beans are done? Because this is delicious, but sometimes they can get overcooked a little bit.
you don't want to overcook them. You
Right.
want to keep the cornmeal still green, robust.
Okay.
Because people like.
They don't want it soggy or too
No.
burnt. Okay.
You want to crunchy. You're gonna try this anyway. You're gonna eat this.
I
right
will.
Now. Okay, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Green bean almond bean right here. Really quick version, okay?
All right.
Now let's try one.
It is very good.
Nice and
I'm not
crunchy.
just saying that. Very nice and crunchy. Thank you so much, Chef Paul. And really quick before we go, you said this is all local foods that everybody can get from the Willie
Willie
Street
Street
Co-op.
Co-op. Mostly root vegetable available. Please come.
Great.
Recipe online.
Recipes are online and plenty of kind of conversation starters with all this local great food. Thank you so much. Remember, there is a half hour of news still ahead on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Next, we are running through the morning's top stories, including the latest on the overnight arrest of a man in connection with Saturday's shooting. Plus, the Badgers are getting ready for their big Rose Bowl appearance. But will running back Jonathan Taylor play, or will he rest to avoid injury ahead of the NFL draft? The answer just ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's December 15th. I'm Keely Arthur. We'll get a check on weather with Chris in just a second. But first, we are following some breaking news overnight. Madison police have now arrested a man for first-degree intentional homicide in connection with Saturday's shooting. They say 20-year-old Marcus T. Hamilton shot and killed a man on the 1000 block of Spruce Street just after 1:15 yesterday afternoon. Police say when they arrived at the scene, the victim was still alive and was rushed to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. He was later pronounced dead. Officers believe this was a targeted attack because Hamilton and the victim knew one another. And at least one person is dead after a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck the Philippines' second largest island overnight. Right now, bridges across the island are closed due to cracks, and with many schools severely damaged, classes have been canceled for tomorrow. The island where this happened is called Mindanao, and it's a popular tourist destination. And we are just hours away from kickoff of the 200th game between the Packers and the Bears. The Packers are 4.5-point favorites going into the game. Since the last 10-3 Packers victory at Soldier Field, the Packers have their best record ever under a first-year head coach, while the Bears have won their last 3 after an early season slump. Kickoff is at Lambeau at noon. And switching to weather now, Chris Reese joining us with a chilly yet sunny forecast.
Yeah, the sunshine is something that is a welcome sight to see. First of all, we don't see a lot of sunshine for this time of the year, but the past several days we've been dealing with the cloud cover, the drizzle, the freezing drizzle that is, and the fog. But it's sunshine out there today. Our temperature right now, 8. As we go through the next several hours, so I think we begin to double that temperature. The sun comes up, we begin to heat the ground, things warm up rather quickly. 16 by 9 o'clock, 18 by 11, by 1 o'clock, I think we start to see those temperatures moving into the low 20s. Here's another live look from our station camera looking towards the east. You see that beautiful color there on the horizon. Temperature-wise, outside of Madison, Viroqua at 0 right now, 17 below that as you work your way up towards Black River Falls. Camp Douglas also coming in at -1, 0 in Watoma rather. So it is a very cold and chilly morning out there, folks. Bundle up if you've got to be headed out earlier on, but that sunshine will stick with us as we go through today. We'll see some clouds this afternoon along with the chance for some flurries tonight into tomorrow, and then no snow until Christmas. At least that's how it looks as of now. We're going to be watching those chances coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Wisconsin junior Jonathan Taylor finished 5th in this year's Heisman voting. It was LSU quarterback Joe Burrow who walked away with this year's win, while some college running backs decide to skip their bowl games in order to prepare for the NFL draft and avoid injury. If you're a Wisconsin fan or just a good running back, not to worry. Taylor did not hesitate when he says he's definitely playing in the Rose Bowl.
Really just because, everybody's situation is different, but, I worked so hard in the offseason with these guys. We earned the right to play in the Big Ten Championship, and by doing so, we also earned the right to play another game, so I just feel as though it'd only be right.
And next, we are celebrating the Christmas season with Clausen's Bakery. They've brought a tradition generations in the making to our studio, and this morning we are building some gingerbread houses and sampling some sweets, all when we return.
Good Sunday morning, folks. We are waking up to a day of sunshine, and I think that sticks with us, folks. Temperatures, though, are cold to start the morning. 8 degrees right now. We'll warm up quickly, though. With the sunshine and the drier air, that's just kind of the recipe for those temperatures to take off into the afternoon. 16 by 9 o'clock, 18 by 11, 20 by 1. I think we'll see those temperatures officially topping out right around 23 as we move into this afternoon. Bundle up, folks, but enjoy that sunshine if you can be outdoors.
Good advice. Thank you, Chris. The Clausen family bakery has been baking handcrafted breads and sweets since 1959, and this year they are expecting to bake more than 120 gingerbread houses, all using the original recipe passed down through the family for generations. Michelle Clausen leads that family tradition here in Madison and joins us this morning. It's great to have you here.
Good morning.
It's fun to see all this festive treats. It looks amazing.
We've been surrounded by festivity, and it's pretty good.
Tough job. And I know that you're going to make 120 gingerbread houses. Is that just you get those orders?
No, we just make that many, and then we also make gingerbread house kits.
Fun.
And then we donate some gingerbread houses to churches for their raffles, and so that's just what we do.
And I know, like, I always end up eating everything before I actually construct the house. But what are some tips for families that you can give to help make their gingerbread houses really come together?
To help their houses come together, have candy pieces that are bigger versus smaller. Have a variety of colors, like dark, light, bright. And be patient with it as well.
Can people come to Clausen's and maybe buy kind of the skeleton of the house and then have their kids or families decorate? Yeah.
They can buy the skeleton of the house put together just like this.
Okay.
And then they just have to whip up some royal icing, which you can find on the internet.
Okay.
And then they can also buy a kit where they have to put everything together with chocolate. That's a little more challenging.
Yes, that's what gets me. So what are some tips here? I know that we have some, show us, like we need to see how the pros get this done.
So with the pastry bag, you never fill it all the way, otherwise everything comes gushing out of the back.
The back, okay.
And so then you twist it tight, and like doing the top of the house, so you use the pressure from the back of the bag, and you just make little designs like that. At this point, you can do whatever you want with the bag. And you can, so now you have a wet, sticky surface. So then you can put these up there.
Very cute.
Those up there. And you have a star.
And you were saying bigger pieces is better.
Yeah,
I
but
think
sometimes small ones too.
Sometimes,
okay, like a tree.
Oh, yeah.
So you, for the bigger pieces, you do like a section on the base, and then in the back to glue it. The icing is your glue.
See.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be able to see this beautiful work.
And you will always get icing on you.
That's okay.
Candy canes are important.
Do you feel like, you know, I mean, this is a time of year everybody's going to eat a lot of cookies, a lot of candy, but there's something about going to a local bakery that makes it special, right?
Yeah.
You said that your dad started all this. He still comes in and bakes. Tell us a little bit about him.
Ralph and Ernie Clausen. Ernie's my uncle.
Okay.
They started this business 60 years ago.
Wow.
65 years ago. And they came from Germany on a boat and brought over recipes. They're both pastry chefs. And so then they started a bakery. And I took it over about 20 years ago. And I use the recipes still, you know, and put some of my own into there.
It has to be special for you. I'm sure this time of year is really busy, but really nostalgic as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because my dad still comes in and works with us, and he still tells us what to do. And there's just there's so much knowledge there.
Right.
So.
Well, I can't wait to taste some of your dad's and your creations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate having you here. And our Holiday Food Fest continues next with some grill lovers food. A grill master from Longhorn Steakhouse is in studio with the perfect surf and turf that can be grilled inside. But first, you are taking a live look over the Capitol. Chris is back tracking your sunny Sunday forecast just ahead.
Well, happy birthday to Gabby. At least one day later, yesterday, a girl named Gabby from Waunakee celebrated her 10th birthday. She wants to be a meteorologist when she grows up, along with some of her classmates, so they were able to come in from Arboretum Elementary in Waunakee and see what it was like to be a meteorologist for a day. It was a fun time. And I'll tell you what, I think my job might be in jeopardy just from watching some of them do the weather. They are some talented kids. Now, as you head out the door, if you haven't already, you may need to give your car a quick scrape. Those temperatures overnight really did drop. A lot of that moisture that was in the air began to freeze onto the car surfaces. Here we are now at 8 degrees this morning. Temperatures, though, begin to warm up. See, we're seeing sunshine this morning, and we haven't seen a lot of that lately, so our temperatures were slow to warm up into the afternoons. But this time, I think it's going to be different. By 9 o'clock, we'll see those temperatures perhaps doubling where they are now at 16, 18 by 11, 20 by the time we get you towards 1 o'clock. But a lot of us are even colder than the 8 that we're starting out in Madison. Negative 16 as you work your way towards Black River Falls. Viroqua at 1 right now, Boscobel at 6, Lone Rock at 8, and then you work your way down towards Janesville. We're just a little bit warmer by a couple degrees. That's where that temperature is at 10. But it's sunshine for just about all of us. Waunakee waking up to sunshine this morning. Same for our friends in Cross Plains. Stoughton waking up to sunshine. Edgerton all seeing that sunshine this morning. And that's the same case as you work your way down towards Janesville, Milton, and Whitewater as well. So high-resolution Doppler is going to be having an easy day as it tracks the weather throughout central Wisconsin today. But we will start to see that cloud cover on the increase. Let's go ahead and go through time. I'm stopping the clock at 4:30. This is this afternoon. We'll see those temperatures right around 23 degrees. The sunshine sticks around at that point. Then we move into the overnight hours. The clouds begin to increase. Midnight, pay attention to what's coming in from the west. This is that chance for flurries. And I think we'll see that flurry chance overnight and then into tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, that sunshine returns. We'll see those temperatures into the upper 20s at that point. A storm system moving by to our south is what's responsible for that chance of flurries that we'll see. The heaviest snow will likely be closer towards St. Louis and central Illinois. That's where 4 to 6 inches of snow will be possible. As for us, for staying dry, I think we stay dry really through much of the weekend leading up towards Christmas as well. There is one chance of snow that's showing up around the 20th and the 21st. We'll watch that one closely, but the reality is, as we go through the next 6 to 10 days throughout the eastern 2/3 of the country, we're looking at a drier than normal pattern along with a warmer than normal pattern as well. That does not bode well for anyone hoping for a white Christmas. Your odds are at 20%. If you've been dreaming, you may just have to keep dreaming at this point because we have a fairly dry forecast. Temperatures will be into the upper 30s and then perhaps even lower 40s by the time we get you towards next Monday.
Oh, happy birthday to Gabby again. Chris, those kids were probably so lucky to get to hang out with you. And this morning, I'm pretty lucky too. We have a lot of food segments. And just because the temperature is dropping doesn't mean grill lovers need to go into hibernation. The grill master from Longhorn Steakhouse, Chris Gernon, is here with a dish that is perfect for the holiday season. I mean, I love grilled steaks, grilled chicken, all those things, but it's hard in the winter season to get that done.
Well, yeah. And we also know that during the holiday season, you know, most Americans want to indulge. You've had a lot of turkey.
Yes.
You've had a lot of ham, all great dishes. But we wanted to make it bold, so we went surf and turf.
Surf and turf. That's what I want on my holiday dinner plate.
So we brought along our crab cake fillet today. I figured we'd make that together.
Great.
Sound good?
Yes, if you trust me. Okay, so
yeah, we've done that. You got
put
your
on the
glove
gloves. I know the drill.
So
you can
now,
get started.
We always start with our steak, right? At Longhorn Steakhouse, we never compromise. Fresh, never frozen. You can't. It's going to make it so much more tender and a better steak. Quality. We're always going to boldly season our steaks, and we use our proprietary seasoning. This is our grill seasoning, but if you're at home, you can use whatever you have. Just make sure you put a lot on there.
Okay.
We want to boldly season that. You can see a lot on there, right?
Yes.
It's going to fall off, so don't worry about it.
That's fine.
This is a fillet, so we want to cook it on a flat top grill. I have the griddle inside here today, but if you're at home and you have the stove, that's fine too.
Okay.
Just place it right in the center, and you're going to get that sear.
Yum.
Going to flip it every 3 to 4 minutes, just depending on how you like it done. For me, about 3 times, medium rare, perfect.
Great.
All right. We'll move on to our crab cake.
Yes, I'm ready.
I brought from the
My
restaurant
gloves.
here our Maryland-style blue crab cake.
Delicious.
Okay? You can get yours at the store pre-made if you're rushing right now, you know, it's the holiday season. Or if you want to make up your own, everyone has their own concoction.
Well, and this looks fairly simple to do. So it might be kind of fun to say, hey, I made the homemade
And you're going to
crab
look
cake.
like a super chef.
Yeah, you are.
So we have our filet cooked over here. Once this is cooked, we put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. We're going to place it right on top of the filet like that, okay? That's our crab cake.
Lovely.
Going on to our third one. Third step. In here, I have a garlic cream sauce. It has garlic, melted butter, parsley, and cream.
Let's see. I don't know if people can
Yeah, okay, there we
see
go.
that. Yeah. Okay.
This
so
is where
there's
you
that.
come in. We're going to put some of our other flavors into it. So we have our lemon juice here. Add that in. Perfect. A little bit of lump crab.
Delicious.
That's going to always make it better.
Oh yeah, you need that. Key
And then we're going
ingredient.
to use our more seasoning. Can't get enough of it.
Can't get enough. You want it in everything.
I love it. And then Dijon mustard.
Okay. I don't know
There
if
you
you
go.
have
That's
a little.
okay. We'll just get it. Yeah, I got you.
I'll let the
The
professional
pro come in.
handle
Yeah,
that.
I've done this enough. Squeeze it, get it in there. All right. So now that that's going, we're going to use a little TV magic. We're going to mix this all together, and we're going to simmer it on the grill. All right? And once it gets nice and hot and ready to go, we're going to top our crab cake fillet with our garlic cream sauce.
Delicious.
All right, got a ladle here. Pour that right over the top. And it brings all the flavors together. You get the lump crab with the garlic. You have the steak and the fillet. I just ate this one the other night. Delicious steak.
It looks amazing. And yeah, surf and turf, it is kind of a nice departure from all the ham, the turkey that we're so accustomed to eating
Yeah,
this
something
holiday
different,
season.
right? And like I said, Americans love to indulge during this time of the year. So, you know, come out and grab it.
Really quickly, what is in that sauce again? Because I feel like it's super simple.
Yeah, so we have our cream, our garlic, a little bit of parsley, melted butter, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, a little bit more seasoning, and lump crab.
Okay, and people can probably pour that over maybe other things like shrimp
Oh,
or
it's
maybe
delicious.
like a salmon fillet
Anything
or
with
something like
seafood
that.
would be great with
Okay.
that. It's got that white creamy sauce, so you'll enjoy it.
And if people don't want to maybe cook all the time, they can always come see
Well,
you.
I got the experts ready to go.
Yes. All right, Chris. Well, we always appreciate you having all this food, bringing it in. I know Chris has really been looking forward to this segment. I have too. Thank you again. And there is more news ahead all day long here on News 3 Now. And then tomorrow morning, we are talking family gatherings and tips for getting along with everyone. Yes, even that one cousin or uncle you might not always agree with. But first, this morning, beating the seemingly unbreakable, why 3 car lovers decided to race across the country and the legal loopholes they had to jump through to make the feat happen. We'll be back in a moment. Finally this morning, the 1981 movie Cannonball Run was a slapstick comedy film, but it was based on real-life efforts to race from coast to coast. And last month, a seemingly unbeatable record was broken.
3 car enthusiasts made it from a garage in New York City to a hotel in Redondo Beach, California at a heart-pounding race. Dana Jacobson has their story.
With a top speed of 193 miles per hour and an average of 103 for more than a day, drivers Arnie Toman and Doug Tabbitt, along with spotter Berkeley Chadwick, are the new Cannonball Run record holders. As first reported by Road and Track, the team made the 2,800-mile journey from New York to Los Angeles in 27 hours, 25 minutes, shaving more than an hour off the old mark set in 2013. While in the movie, Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise crossed the country in an ambulance, the team rode in a souped-up Mercedes, modified over the course of 2 years, specifically with setting the record in mind.
We've got a couple radar detectors, a CB radio, a police scanner. We use gyro-stabilized binoculars, and something new for this trip that's never been done is we used a thermal scope on the roof of the car, so we were able to see anything warm on the side of the road waiting up before us.
They were also aided by a network of spotters, driving ahead of them and reporting road conditions, along with the placement of police speed traps.
We knew we had a shot pretty much the whole time, and thankfully nothing bad happened. There was no altercations with the police or anything to slow us down.
But the feat is drawing criticism from safety experts. The Governor's Highway Safety Association says speeding is widely deemed culturally acceptable by the motoring public. We need to change that narrative and make speeding as socially unacceptable as drunk driving. Toman maintains the team never put any other drivers at risk.
There was no close calls at all. We don't pass people at a high rate of speed simply because it's dangerous. And if we were to do that, to drive recklessly, they're just going to call the police, and then we're just going to have police waiting for us.
Well, no speeding for us. You and I are just kicking back, eating our surf and turf, our gingerbread house. It's a good morning.
I know, it's a good morning. We had Longhorn Steakhouse in here. We're about to have some fun after the show.
Yes.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. We are watching the forecast, and that's going to be a beautiful day. Plenty of sunshine out there. It'll be colder. Look for highs around 23, some flurries tonight into tomorrow morning. More sunshine throughout the week, perhaps some flurries on Friday. Warmer by next Monday, Christmas Eve. Has a chance for flurries and temperatures right around 33. Here's your pet walk.
Finn.
Finn.
Cutie pie.
In the Christmas spirit.
Finn is celebrating the hygge spirit, and so are we. Thanks, everybody, for watching. You can hang out with Chris and I again next week.